Hello everyone, Dan back here with you. Going to work on stage 2 of Eaglemoss Enterprise D build. Not a whole lot to do in this issue, but I'll get to it here and we'll start assembling some stuff. Again, like I did in the previous video, I will go over any of the modifications that I've done as I go, and just basically go over what I did. So the first thing, you have your parts. This is the upper half of the port or left nacelle. This is the main portion, and this is metal. See if I can get that light a little bit better. And this is metal, and you can probably maybe see the Aztecing a little bit there, and the nice pennant decal here. That's where the main construction on this stage is. Kind of goes through here, what you do, and we'll start off with that. And that being said, the first modification that I did is to the Bussard EM field projector, which is this part here. Now you'll notice that in the kit it is a clear amber color, and it was Eaglemoss lights it. I'm trying to get the light better here. Eaglemoss lights it, but it's not supposed to be lit. It was never lit during the course of the show. So a lot of people are doing a modification to this. Pretty much basically what I did. I painted the inside surface flat black, just a basic Krylon matte finish, and then I came back, and the one little mistake I made is my choice of what I do. Whenever I paint yellow or red, I will paint white as the base coat, and then I will paint whatever color, whether it be yellow or red, on top. It just, for whatever reason, it makes the colors either red or yellow pop better. But I chose a Krylon matte white primer, paint / primer, and it kind of had a little bit of a problem with the grooves. It actually the paint kind of cracked inside the grooves a little bit, and so it's not the perfect paint job on this, but it'll do for now, because my understanding is that Eaglemoss is going to replace these with more accurate pieces down the road. My guess is when you get the next pack that has any nacelle parts in it, they'll send these replacements. That's what I'm guessing anyway. I don't know for sure. But at any rate, I got the yellow. I used Tamiya, actually the gloss lemon yellow. Let me see if I can see what the number is on that from here on my paint rack. Let me take a quick peek. It is X. Sorry about that. It is X8. Tamiya X8. It's a gloss lemon yellow. I was going to use flat yellow, but when I went to open the paint jar, I discovered I basically was out. So I had some lemon yellow, and it looks pretty good anyway. So that's the modification I did on that. As far as when you put this together, let's see if I can get this in camera here so you can see it. See these two little notches on either side? Those fit on the framework that you're going to put in here in a few minutes. You'll see they fit on the framework around the where you attach the screws, and they should go. The instructions say that the if I can read it upside down again, it says with the flaring turn this around so I can read it. Striations. With the striations flaring forward. And basically that just means those grooves have a slant on them, and they should be moved. They should be placed in such a way that those grooves are pointing this way. So, like I said, the first thing you do is you place that. Let's get it right here. It really does kind of only fit in one way. Just like that. Just like that there. And my notches are pointed forward. And if I turn it over, if I can hold it and get it in the camera, you can kind of see how those striations point forward that way. Next is the reflector plate, which is kind of not really necessary if you do this modification. I won't say it's necessary, but it kind of doesn't serve a purpose anymore other than support. Once again, you've got, and this has got clear part, so I don't know how much well you're going to see it, but you got those notches on either side, and those match up. And here it just kind of really just kind of sits inside there, kind of friction fit down in there, and it can move back and forth. So once you put your framework on, it'll line up fine. So that's that. You don't have to anchor anything down on that part by itself. But we go across to the next. Actually, I'm sorry, I got it back up here. The other modification I did is the formation light that goes, it shows here, let me zoom in if I can. And you can see here it points to the formation light. This part comes, it's clear, but it's painted a clear blue. Once again, that part was never, the light was never blue on camera. It was always a clear lens, clear strobe. So what you can do with that, this is a very simple fix. You just take your clear blue part, or your clear blue, if I can get it to focus there we go, and you just soak it in some 91% isopropyl alcohol, and it strips that blue paint off just fine. Leaves you with a nice clear lens. Some have been sanding this. I don't think I'm going to sand the tip there at all. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I can always come back and change my mind a little bit later, because you won't see anything nacelle related after this. Let me zoom back out here. Oops, wrong way. You won't see anything nacelle related in the build for the next probably, let's see, a lot of other people are up to issue 11, and there are no nacelle parts since this issue. So anyway, this is keyed to fit in a certain way in the hole in the top of the nacelle half. So you just kind of gotta get it worked in there right. If I can get it to sit down there. There we go. Like I said, it's keyed to fit in only one way. And I'm actually gonna prop that up just a little bit for the moment until I get this other part in, because that'll pop it right back out again. Alright, next up is your framework. And this is your framework. It's plastic. Yeah, the top nacelle half is metal. But that's your framework. And that's basically, you just place this down, make sure you get over top of that. I'll bring this back in camera. You get that over top of that formation light. Everything fits in, kind of fits nice and snug in there. And here, I'm going to show you here, you'll notice where I was talking about those notches, right here and here, where you will apply your screws to the front end of the piece that goes on the front here. That's where those notches fit around that area where you screw those in. So, but here we're going to put AP screws, and we've got let's see how many I've got. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on each side, and then you've got your. Oh, I'm sorry. No, wait a minute. We're doing AM screws, which is in the middle. I'm sorry, I've jumped ahead there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 AM, 9 AM screws. You got one here in the center. My screwdriver out here, and get my handy dandy little container here. So we need 9 AM screws. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Close that up, get it out of the way. And since we're going into metal, I've got a little bit of 3-in-1 oil here. On the screwdriver, dip it, just the tip. And we're going to start over here. If I can see where this goes in. Doesn't seem to be grabbing at all. There we go. Nice and tight. And I'm going to go the opposite end here. I like the design of this screwdriver. You can twist it as you're twisting it, but the top spins, so that way you can keep that pressure on at the top as you're pressing down on the screwdriver, giving you torque, and but still keep turning the screwdriver. All right. And I'm going to speed this up for you. You don't need to be sitting here watching me put screws in all the way around. So I'll speed this up, and we'll be back here in a minute with you. Okay, there we have it. All 9 screws in and tightened down, and everything is nice and secure. And now we move on to the next step, which is attaching the front portion of the front portion of the tip of the nacelle there, and that's this part, and this is also metal. So we'll be using BM screws on this one. And I drop that down. And we'll need 3 BM screws. And one left over. It also tells you how many extra BM screws, or however many extra of each type of screw you will have in the parts list once you're finished. They give you extra screws. So by the end of the build, you'll have a nice collection of extra screws, I'm sure. All right, so this in here, and I'll hold it in place. Get the one on the front here first. Last BM screw. It does feel a little loose, but it's the frame that's loose. I mean, it's that tip of the top edge of the frame there that's loose. It's not because the screws aren't tight, I don't believe. Make sure those are tightened down. It's all tight. It's just loose right around where this part fits in here. Hopefully that'll solidify once everything is connected up. But everything's in place, and those screws are all tight. So last, and this is a part that some people are doing modifications to. I haven't done yet, and I don't know that I will. Is the warp field grills. These are clear, again, painted blue, clear blue. What a lot of people have pointed out is that during the course of the show, whenever the engines weren't lit, which wasn't very often, but whenever the engines weren't lit, the outer surface was a copper color. And it was only when the engines were lit that everything was blue. Now, a lot of people have been, or some people have been, Some have stripped it completely off, the blue, and got it back to completely clear. And then they would paint the inside surface with something like Tamiya clear blue, and then they would paint the outer surface with a light coating of a copper color. Kind of depends on your personal choice as to what brand of paint or type of paint, what shade of copper you want to use. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'm kind of wondering if maybe Eaglemoss will correct this down the line somewhere. And plus, I'm not going to do it right now because if I do that, I want to have all of the warp field grills be consistent in the shade that's going to be on there if I do use a copper. I won't strip it back to clear. I'll leave the blue paint, and then I'll put a coat of copper over it. In fact, the one I'm using or going to use if I do that is a craft acrylic. It's folk art. It's a metallic copper. I don't know if you can see that in there. The light's kind of shining on there, but it's a folk art metallic copper. Am I upside down? I think we're all upside down. Yeah, folk art metallic copper. I'll thin it down and it'll be a real light layer, but I want to do it when I have all the pieces together so I can do them all at once and have a nice consistency to the coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and install them as is, and this is going to get set aside for quite a while because, like I said, you're not going to see any nacelle parts till at least, at the very earliest, would be issue 12, which is probably probably a year down the road, I would think. So we are using AP screws here. We're going to need 4 per side, and then you've got the back piece here where you're going to need 2. So you're going to need 10 AP screws. So I'll get those out. Need one more. Alright, I have 10 AP screws, and I will speed this up again so I can avoid you watching me doing multiple turns of the screwdriver here. One other thing, some people have run into a problem with one of the mounting tabs on here. Now mine is fine, I haven't had any trouble with it, but some people have had trouble with one of the mounting tabs not being drilled out. As it's a simple fix if you got a pin vise and you can just kind of gently drill the hole out, but you got to make sure you get it lined up properly though, because this does fit in there nice and snug. But just something to watch for in your kit and in stage 2, issue 1, stage 2. So like I said, I'm going to speed this up and we'll be back in a minute here. Okay, that's it. That is the top half of the port or left nacelle all done. Like I said, that's still loose. That kind of bothers me a little bit. But like I said, I think once everything is all together, hopefully that won't be that loose. Not sure why. Maybe the reflector plate is causing that. Let's see here. Maybe that reflector plate wasn't down enough, and it's causing that. No, I just don't think that's it. I think it's just, yeah, I'm kind of moving this, and the frame is moving. The whole piece, that whole is kind of moving back and forth. So it's something with that EM field projector that's just not fitting snug like it should, and I'm not sure why, because everything is in place. So at any rate, that's where we are. Looks good. I mean, it does look good. It looks more Canon with that yellow on the EM field projector than the clear amber did. So that's all we've got. We'll be putting this aside. One thing that came in this pack that you don't use now is the Bussard collector, and so that gets put aside. It just fits right on like that when it's all said and done. It's pretty clear. I don't know if you can frost that or not, diffuse that. We'll see. But anyway, that'll get set aside in a nice, safe location, and I'll probably wrap it up in some tissue paper or something so it doesn't get scratched up. So that's all we've got in issue 1, stage 2. I did receive issue 2, which comprises stages 3, 4, 5, and 6. I got that the other day. It was a month late. Something in stage 6 was back ordered, but it's in now. So I'll be working on that here probably in a week or so. We'll do it. I'm going to do it just like this. I'm going to do it stage by stage so the videos don't run too long. Because if I did it the whole issue all at once, you're talking probably a 2-hour video, and I don't think anyone wants to sit through 2 hours of me putting something together. So that's all we got. Everybody have a great day. Take care. Hit the subscribe button if you feel so inclined. And same with the like button. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. And we will catch everybody later in the next video. Take care.